Our podcast is a part of the World Podcast Network, now with over 1,000 podcasts. Visit the World Podcast Network at worldpodcast.network to listen to podcasts in over 12 genres. Come vote our podcast episodes up and help us rise on the leaderboard. If you have a podcast of your own, you can join for free. Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be doing just a quick catch-up with the 3 90-day OG episodes that I haven't talked about, like I promised I was going to do, and then the next episode will come shortly, hopefully, fingers crossed, after. So before we head into it, let's just do a couple quick announcements. Announcement number 1, again, I'm just kind of putting it out there that I am in the middle of doing fertility treatments, and with that, it just means that I'm going to be not always readily available. I should be okay for the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, I can get episodes out a little faster. But we'll see how that goes. So I just want to put that out there that sometimes an episode may not come out, as often, but I'm going to get them to you. Don't you worry. Second up, announcement, Patreon is here. It's available. So if you're interested in that, we have 3 tiers. First tier is $3. There you get these episodes out free, as well as AMAs that happens once a month. $5 tier, which is the second tier, you get a reality show from yesteryear that I'm covering currently right now. That is Jersey Shore. We're still in the second season, but we're going to be entering into the third season very soon, and there will be a sneak peek of the first episode of season 3, which will be coming very soon on the regular feed. So look out for that. And then on the third tier, we have all of that, as well as a true crime documentary as well that we do one a month, and we split that into 2 episodes each month. So we've done Ashley Madison, Man with 1,000 Kids. We just did Into the Fire last month. This month's documentary is going to be the Lacey Peterson documentary. So that's coming very soon. There will be, again, a sneak peek to the first part of the episode that's going to be coming out sometime this month. So look out for that as well. And that's Patreon. And if you're interested in joining, you can go down to the show notes where there will be a link to the Patreon, but that is at patreon.com/ it's / or just / whatever, reality tea times 2. Okay, so let's go into some hot goss. So we did talk about this before as well, but if you remember, Taylor Rue from Love is Blind, she welcomes her first baby with her boyfriend, Cameron Shelton. And baby's cute, so I will definitely share a picture of that on the social media feeds. So the 28-year-old who appeared on season 5 of Love is Blind, I'm sorry if y'all can hear anything in the background. I do not know what's going on, but it's too hot to leave the windows closed right now. Anyway, so she appeared on season 5 of Love is Blind. She has welcomed her first baby with her boyfriend. A rep for Rue confirms exclusively to People. Carson Wayne Shelton was born on April 23rd at 10:55 p.m., weighing 7 pounds and 11 ounces and measuring 20 inches long. She said, quote, "I can't believe I made it 28 years without this type of love in my life. He is our whole world and we couldn't be happier. His middle name is after my dad, the man that taught me how to be loved." Yeah, so I'm just grabbing some of she looks very different than I remember for some reason, but anyways. Back in October, as we talked about already, she exclusively shared with people that she was pregnant, which was an extra special news after the couple experienced a pregnancy loss earlier that year, which we did talk about that. So yeah, I will have the photos of their son on the socials. I'm just grabbing them as I'm talking right now. But he's very adorable, and congratulations to the both of them on their their new arrival. Okay, next piece. This is Bachelor in Paradise. I got some news for everybody in case no one's seen it yet. So, premiere date has been revealed, so let's get into it. Bachelor Nation fans have been anxiously awaiting, Alliya, the highly anticipated season 10 of Bachelor in Paradise. Now we can officially announce that season 10 is premiering on July 7th at 8 p.m. on ABC and will be streaming later on Hulu. For the first time, the show is heading to Costa Rica, not Mexico, where Bachelor Nation stars will be looking for a second or third shot at love. Jesse Palmer will obviously be returning as the host, and Wells is also going to be there as well. Yay! Um, and Hannah Brown. Why? I didn't ask for Hannah. I just want Wells. Anyways. And in a series first, fan favorites, as we know from the Golden Seasons, are joining in on the fun, proving once again that age is just a number. The first 5 cast members include Gary Levinston, Leslie Fima, Zoe McGarty, Hakeem Moulton, and Jonathan Johnson. Stay tuned for the rest of the cast announcement, so we don't know everybody yet. But July 8th, y'all, and of course I'm covering it. Jeez. I'm excited for that one. Okay, next piece, and this will be the last piece for this one. So this is Below Deck related. So Gail Cameron, if you remember Gail from Below Deck, and Nathan Gallagher was he on Below Deck? I don't remember who she was with. But anyways, they are overwhelmed with happiness to be expecting their first baby. Yeah, that is him. Oh my God, they're having a baby. So Gail and Nathan are getting ready for the next chapter in their lives. So the Below Deck Med alums who got together during season 9 of the show are expecting their first baby together, a son. And they tell people that when they first found out the happy news, they were feeling a little overwhelmed. Saying, quote, honestly, it was a mix of emotions. I was excited, a little scared, but mostly just overwhelmed with happiness. This is what Cameron said. It felt surreal in the best way, like everything was about to change in the best of ways. And I do have some photos of their, I don't know if it's necessarily their pregnancy shoot, but I do have some photos that I will be sharing as well. I mean, again, he just looks so different. Um, he looks good, actually. As for how she's been feeling so far during her pregnancy, Cameron shares that she's been lucky to have a relatively easy few months. Saying, quote, feeling super bloated and like my body's expanding by the second, but overall quite well, craving all of the things I can't have. I never wanted oysters more in my life, but it's all so worth it. The couple has just started putting together their little one's nursery, and Cameron notes that Nathan is making sure their son is starting out as as fashionable as he can be. Nathan has made it a priority that Bub's fits will be on point. Although it's going to be a huge change for the reality TV stars, Cameron says the two are just feeling excited to experience everything to come. I think I'm both excited and nervous. It's such a huge new chapter. There's so much we don't know yet, but we are so excited to grow through it all. The thought of sharing our world with our new little best friend just fills our hearts. So congratulations to the both of them. I mean, wow, it's great to see when a relationship really, goes past the show and actually lasts past the show. And not only that, a baby. That's amazing. And I'm happy for her, and more so than anything, he treated her really well. So, congratulations to them. All right, guys, let's get to the reason that we are here, and that is to discuss 90 Day OG. Okay, so in this one, we're going to be covering episodes 9 to 11. So that is the last 3 episodes before the most recent one, just so we can kind of work up to how I felt about certain things that happened in the episodes that I definitely want to talk about. And then it leads up to when we can finally get to the most recent episode, hopefully if I can actually get that notes done for it. So anyways, um, so let's get into it. So first, we're going to be doing couple by couple and going through each episode. So Sarper and Shekinah. So for poor Sarper throwing up on the boat when they're going to, Sofie and seeing the sea lions, right? Poor thing. If I thought anyone would have thrown up, it would have potentially been Shekinah. To see big, tough Sarper throwing up, it was poor thing. So Sophie's kind of saying, is working up to what will be coming up next. Sophie kind of saying the most important thing for her is him to fix the relationship with her family, because obviously her family is important to her and Sarper is important to Shekinah. So it's kind of like, you need to fix that relationship, which I don't disagree with. So they're going to do it. We're heading to Montana. And you know what? Her dress or skirt, sweater ensemble that she was wearing in the opening scenes, she looked adorable. I thought she looked so cute. Anyway, we're going to Montana, where her family is from. He is so excited to see a moose head that he says, so big. Yes, sir, it is. Moose are big. Mooses. And then she kind of talks about her background, which we kind of heard about before, but I was definitely confused that I thought she was raised in Amish community. She wasn't. She was actually raised kind of like adjacent to the Amish. It really sounds like her dad was just a controlling freak, honestly. And to see like her and her sisters kind of come out of that on the other side, like I've heard some things about her dad, like he's not a great guy. But yeah, like that's really messed up to kind of put your children through something like that. For what? It sounds very sovereign citizen type situation. But anyways. So he is really excited that he has been gifted a cowboy hat. And he just keeps saying yeehaw like a cowboy. So they go like horseback riding before meeting the sisters. And he I've been horseback riding as well. It is very therapeutic. It's so much fun to be a part of like this animal, this huge animal is really responsible for your safety, and like to put your trust into that animal. Yeah, I love it. I loved it. I would love to do it again. But he ends up picking this one particular horse that he says it looks miserable. And she comes back without even a thought and says, yeah, he loves misery. Shit. I guess that's maybe why he's with you. Anyways, Shekinah, I don't dislike Shekinah, but sometimes she's a little bit miserable. So then we see him meeting her family. Her family, holy Lord, when they walk in, like, what the gothic, preppy, Jesus, Montana happened. It literally felt like if the Kardashians were in Montana. That's what it felt like to me. And the names. We already know about Shariah. We've met Shariah before, but then we also have Mariah and Zanaya and Shekinah. If they had a son, what do you call him? Jeremiah. There you go. Just, maybe there was a son named Jeremiah. I don't know. But like the Alliya, like what? Alliya, like what is going on? Oh man. Anyway, he's learned the love of sweet potato fries. They are delicious. So yes, he loves the sweet potato fry. So that's what they're going to order for him. And you know what? This it's not great, okay? But it's going decently. We are at least respecting each other and putting our shit out there, right? But the minute that Sarper decides to say, so do y'all have geisha vibes? Oh no. I literally wrote in my notes no in all caps and like 6 or 7 O's. Sarper, you have to know, like, I love you. I do. I have said on this podcast many, many a time how much I love Sarper. Sarper, you have to know that this isn't going to go over well. Because to refer to their sister as a geisha vibe because she does everything for you without asking, first of all, I think that's just adulting, that I'm going to do shit, not ask you to do it or wait for you to tell me to do it. This is a woman who's lived her life pretty independently. She is a mother. She's had to figure all her life out. So I think she just does. I think that's just humans. But to refer to that as geisha, oh God. And then to say that in front of her sisters, especially two of them you've never met before, and then there's Shariah who hates you. So you're going to use the term geisha? Oh God. And geisha has such a negative connotation to it because it is negative. At least in Western way of thinking, it's not great. So why would you use geisha to describe what you're describing? Anyways, Shariah, I think it was Shariah asked like to Shekinah, like, do you feel like you can't voice your opinions? And she does straight up say, well, like he doesn't like it, but I do it anyways because I am who I am and he is who he is. I think a lot of that, I don't want to make excuses for Sarper, but I think a lot of that is he is very stuck in his own ways. He wants things done the way he wants it done. Sorry, I got distracted there. I had to take a quick break. But anyways, he said sometimes that he misses the old Shekinah, but it's fine. It's fine. Again, what does that mean? Like, why would you say that to them? Sarper has no filter, unfortunately. Anyways, Shekinah isn't really on his side, though, that I do want to stress this. You may not necessarily agree with everything that he is saying, but in front of your family, to show that united front, do what Jessica did with Juan, stand by your man. Stand by your man. And then when you're away from your family, then you can, tell him about himself. Don't do it in front of your family. So the next thing we kind of see is, again, this is a span of the 3 episodes. We see that fight that happens a week after they went back to California. Something about him saying like, she recorded the argument because I guess camera crews weren't there, but she recorded it anyways, an audio, and she kind of says something about how I was at work all day. I come home, I cook a meal for you, and all I get was fuck you. And he says like, I'll just go back to my country. They're apparently now not talking to each other. We see her packing up all her like work stuff. And she says like, I'm planning to move her workspace out of the home so this can just be a living space. And she kind of is feeling a little bit defeated because she's doing this because she's trying to, for the betterment of the relationship. But then here was this argument that happened. So she says that he was in a really bad mood. She's like, I have made adjustments for him. Like, there's no space in my closet for my clothes because, like, all his stuff is hung up. Now, the joke aside, I hear what she's saying, though, with this, is that just generally speaking, she's made adjustments for him, and she's feeling a little bit defeated, by how he's acting. And she says, like, in Turkey, at least, like, I could leave in these situations, but this is my place, this is my home, like, I can't just leave. Here's the thing, though. Y I think that in Turkey, leaving when these big blowups would happen was detrimental to your relationship in the sense of you now don't have, like, resolution skills or experience in resulting in or resolving these issues. Instead, you run away and he doesn't, you know, make you do differently, whatever. And you guys don't have communication, at least at this point, and how to resolve these issues. So you rely on the ability to run away from a situation when that's not always the healthiest way to do things. I think going and taking a breather away from each other is normal, but to go and rent a hotel room and stay away from him for 2, 3 days or vice versa isn't normal, it's not healthy. Not when you're talking about marriage anyways, or a long-term relationship. So, you need to figure out ways to resolve those issues. It's not always easy, but you have to try. So now when this happens and you guys feel trapped by each other, you have no way of figuring it out because you don't know how. So then we kind of see him calling Fusen, saying she's being disrespectful to me. It sounds like maybe you're being disrespectful to her, but more on that later. He was going to the computer. He was picking seats for a flight. He was ready to click, yes, let's go back to Turkey. But then kind of like, you know what, I rush to do things, maybe take a minute. He's like, if I come back there, there's no stopping me. Another 3,500 women. Oh God, here we go. Get the ticks going. Anyways, he says straight up, like, if I go back, I'm burning everything down. Like, Shekinah who is basically what he's saying here. Anyways, that's our and Shekinah for these 3 episodes. Let's move on to Mark and Mina. We got a lot, y'all. Buckle up. So Mina with Mark is meeting his friend Diana, who is actually friends with his friend. They were not friends with his friend, but I think she was married to one of his friends and is the friend for whom connected him with Jade. So she's also friends with Jade. Y'all. And Diana, man, she's just coming in. Diana's like, did you get here or did you get her the BMW? Because y'all, he got a BMW for both Jade and Jordan at like the same time. That's weird. And she says, like, once Mark kind of goes away because Maria's crying, she says to Mina, like, I'm shocked that you're even here. And she says to her and us that Mark, when he first met Mina, told Diana, oh, Melina reminds me of Jade. So, like, that's why I'm interested in her, because she reminds me of her. Sorry, what? Because if I heard that as now the fiance and the mother of your child, I'm thinking, the fuck you say? She says, like, he moves really fast in his relationships. He apparently was very devastated when him and Jade broke up. But, whatever. They both have sons. Here's the other thing, too, the other connection of how, like, this is maybe a little plausible, but Diana is saying they're both Black. They're both young. They both have sons. They live together. Diana says that him and Jade live together. And Mina says, interesting, because he told me they didn't. Why would you lie about that? Like, who lies about their living situation with an ex? And Diana says, like, the reason that they broke up is because Jade saw that Mark was talking to other women. His phone was connected to the iPad. She sees the iPad going bloop, 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 and she sees that he's messaging other women. Stay stupid. Kind of like in the movie about Cock Block. Remember the movie Cock Block with, like, what's his face? The guy does the hefty commercials. I don't know why it's not coming to me right now. But the same thing. The reason why they all knew that there was like the sex pact was because of the phone being connected to the computer. Stay stupid. Um so um when I think this is her where she says this too. When Mark and Mina started talking and, getting to know each other, he's not trying to get back with Jade. Oh, okay, again. The fuck you say? I don't know, man. I'd be pissed. And she's like, maybe you need to talk to Jade. And I said, maybe she does need to talk to Jade. Let's do it. Like, for the viewer, let's do this. So because like she's pissed off, obviously, we're going to buy everything in the store as a revenge because Mark can afford it. So when she talks to him about everything that Diana has just said, he's probably thinking, first of all, why would you take your future wife to meet the friend of your ex-girlfriend for whom we're hearing everything about, right? Why would you do that? Not even like a few exes ago, the most recent one. Who does that? But he denies like everything that's been said. He denies ever trying to get back with her. He said that never happened. I don't believe him. So she does message Jade and she does make a date to meet Jade, and we see her getting ready to meet Jade. And here's the thing that I think you never do. Don't tell your man you're going to go talk to the ex. You tell them afterwards and you ask for forgiveness later. I've been there. I've done that. We've all been there. We've all done that. You don't tell him. You don't tell him. Anyway. And when she goes and she meets up, like goes to the place where she's going to meet Jade, she actually shows up. I'm shocked. And she is beautiful. Like beautiful. And she says, huh, he broke up with me? The fuck not? I broke up with him. Like, what? And she says, like, part of the reason why they broke up is because he was planning to move to Boston. Why did he end up moving to New Hampshire? We'll never know. But he wanted to move to Boston, and she didn't want to move to Boston. She said, we did try to do the long distance thing for a bit afterwards, but it just didn't work out. And she does say, not to Mina, but to the camera, I do think I was the one that got away for him. Yeah, well. She says that when they broke up, they were done. She's like, I'm not a threat to you. I'm happy in the relationship that I'm currently in. She says he did message me to see like how I was after the breakup, but she's like, I think that was before he was with you. So like that long ago, like they've been together for 5 years, right? So it's been a long time. And she says, she does kind of corroborate what Diana said earlier, that he was texting other women about going to Martha's Vineyard. She says, is one reason I didn't want to work anything out with him, obviously. She's like, one thing that you do need to watch out for, though, is that mom. She is too involved. And once that family kind of decides that they don't like you, they write you off. And I said, interesting. We're talking about the mom who seems to be really nice and kind of helped somewhat diffuse a situation between Jordan and Mina. But we're not hearing about Jordan. So why aren't we hearing about Jordan? That's actually really interesting. And it's really interesting to hear that the mom's the problem when I didn't see that. I saw the other way around. So maybe it's because Mina and Mark have a child together where him and Jay did not. So maybe that's the difference because there's a grandchild involved. I don't know. So Mina says that she really likes Jade and maybe you should come to my wedding. And I said, make it happen. This would be incredible if they actually managed to get her to the wedding. Oh, anyways, that's it for Mina and Mark for these 3 episodes. Let's move on to Alliya and Shawn. So we are seeing Jackie, who is if we remember Jackie, for those people who watched Love in Paradise, we did see Jackie on that season. And she immediately is kind of like, so how's the sex? How long were you here before you had the sex? And I'm like, this is so inappropriate. Like, it's okay, maybe, okay. I'm trying to think from my perspective. Yes, I have had friends ask me, especially with the process that I'm currently in, how things are going. But again, that's like Letitia, who I've known for like practically all my life. So that's like one thing. But for this woman to kind of be like, so how's the sex? Just randomly like that, it's like, are you good, ma'am? And again, like conversations like that didn't just start off with how's the sex and how's it going. It was like talking about other things that are going on. And then that goes into that. Like, it's not the first thing that started. It's inappropriate. Anyways, she needs a life. She tells Jackie that she does potentially want to get a boob job, but she hasn't told Shawn that yet. And I think that should be maybe the first person you tell under the circumstances of how Shawn is feeling about certain things. Of course, Shawn doesn't always vocalize how he feels, but telling Jackie and then telling Shawn, I don't know, man. Shawn does kind of mention, though, when they kind of meet up afterwards, that he does kind of wish he could put things off. And he says that in front of Alliya, and I didn't like that. This squeaky toy, oh, hell on earth, that squeaky toy sound was. Anyways, we're seeing Shawn's mom, and she's lovely with Alliya. Like, they actually have a relationship outside of Shawn, which I think is amazing. And why is Shawn holding this baby doll, cradling it like a baby? That's freaking creepy. Um, I really think there is some deep-rooted psychology that needs to be worked through with Alliya. I really do. Anyways, so his mom has a lot of stuff. Hoarding seems to be kind of genetic in this family. I don't know. So then there's an engagement party that, of course, they're late for because Alliya took forever to get ready, but she does look amazing. He tries to justify his reasons for not telling anyone of what's kind of been going on with him, with Alliya, with him getting engaged, with him doing the visa, with her being here, with him getting married in 90 days. Like, he's just trying to justify all of that, which one of his family members was like, you're a great texter. Like, that's bullshit. um, and he says, which this shocked me, the wedding is in a month. They're actually 60 days down now. So their storyline has clearly been so freaking boring that we've literally shot through 2 months. And it feels like it's only been a month. Anyways, he then says, which I disliked this, maybe immigration will just come and get her. That's not funny. That's not funny under, like, I know this was before what's currently happening, but that is not funny under the circumstances right now. Like, don't make jokes like that, Just don't. His cousin says that she's young. She hasn't had a career. She hasn't had much of a life yet. She's still young in her journey, with her being just even gay. And then with her exploration and her figuring herself out as a trans woman, she still has a lot to figure out. And he says, like, you're pretty established in all of that. You're comfortable in your skin. You have had a career, a very good one. So there's a lot of differences here. But he feels like it is good for him to be there for her right now, that maybe this is where he's meant to be, I guess, through her discovering herself. And it's like, but you also can't handle her discovery. So I found that interesting. He says, but until I can't handle it. But his cousin here says, which I don't necessarily agree with, but marriage is forever. Not anymore. And he's like, Shawn says, or 10 years. That seems reasonable. And he says, which is longer than most of my relationships. I'm just saying, this isn't going to last. No way this is going to last. But anyways, that's it for Shawn and Alliya. Let's move on to the next couple, and then we'll take a break. Mahdi and Stevi. So monster trucks, y'all, monster trucks, say you are from the country without saying you're from the country. He asks her dad, like, can I marry Stevi? Sir, you already asked to marry her. He's, of course, hesitant on things because he's obviously heard things that has been said by him in terms of wanting to go back home. But he kind of gives the okay. So when they're kind of on the way, because he has this really sweet surprise for her, for the proposal, but when they're on the way to the destination, he says to her, like, they're kind of joking with each other about, like, oh, where are we going? We're going to go out of state, which they never did, but they're going to go out of state. And she's like, well, I was going to leave you there. And she's like, what would you do if I leave you there? They're just joking, having fun with each other. And of course he says, well, I'll just go home then. I'll just go back to Iran. Stop it. It bothers her. Like, I understand, like, I'm with him on certain things, but this is like, it bothers her. And joking about it is the wrong thing to do. Like, don't do that. Enough. But don't worry, I'm coming for her in a second. But he does end up proposing to her on the beach. It's so sweet. And our yogis in the background are like, yay, namaste. Yay. Anyways, Dad does agree that when they go back to Hattiesburg, he's going to walk her down the aisle. So good. We're happy. We go see this wedding venue with a friend of Stevie's. I didn't catch her name. Doesn't matter though, because here's the kicker. Stevi actually painted her like one of Jack's French girls. And she never told him, she never warned him until this very moment when he's meeting her for the first time. So he's obviously really upset. It really quickly changes the mood, and it's pretty obvious that he's uncomfortable, which makes the friend uncomfortable. Why is the friend here, actually? I didn't understand why she was even here, but that's besides the point. When they go outside to leave, did y'all catch the holiday on the outside? Like, literally, it was the National Lampoon car with the suitcases on the top. I'm literally waiting for the National Lampoon family to just come waiting for Chevy Chase to come out of somewhere and start driving to Wally's World or wherever they're gonna go. What was happening? Oh man. Anyway, but he ends up questioning her. Here's where I'm going to come for her. He ends up questioning her about her sexuality again, which has clearly been a bone of contention for them. And he does say, which I do want to kind of point out here, I'm going to come for him again before I come for her. He says bisexuality is against my culture. And not even just that, but it messes with his mind. He can't compute that. So I will give to him if he feels like he isn't necessarily going to be enough for her sexually, that I can't give her something that she may want because I don't have that. That I can understand. But that needs to be an open conversation that she also has to be open to having, and she's not. And I'm coming for her in a second. But for you to sit here and say it's against my culture, sir, so is being in a co-ed gym. So is having premarital sex. So is drinking. So is eating pork. But you're doing all of that. So what? I know the pork was later. It's in the most recent episode. But what? Come on, sir. So he says, like, you told me that they would send you pictures, not you doing it in person. I do agree with her. What's the difference? But I do agree with him. She told him that. She for sure told him, oh, they're not actually coming to me in person. They're just sending me pictures. I 1,000% believe him that she told him that. But I am also with her as what's the difference? But that's now gaslighting because you probably told him that and you're not being honest. So, or you're trying to make him feel like he's crazy. Honestly, I think she's gaslighting him through the whole thing. I think she's trying to make him look like he is crazy, but something isn't right. Something's going, not that something isn't right. I have no issue with you being bisexual, right? But it's knowing that it's gonna bother him and you are purposely holding it from him because for what? Come on now. And I'm with him also. I think he said it. I don't know if it was in this episode or the next one or the most recent one. But he does say at some point, are you just waiting until we get married? Yes. The answer is yes. She is. And that is disgusting. Just be honest with him and then spell it out for him. Help him understand because just because she's bisexual does not mean she's going to cheat on you with a woman. Doesn't mean that. It just means that she's bisexual. So whatever. She's chosen you. She is with you. She's not going to cheat on you. So yeah, this is ridiculous. But he says, you haven't assured me. That's true. And she says, like, I'm with you, but I don't see how he needs more. So give him more. And she's like, I'm with you. So stop it. No, stop being so evasive. Just answer the question. And he says, it would make me feel better if you were to just be honest. And she's, but that's your problem, not my problem. Like, why should it be my problem? Because it is your problem. It is your problem. If someone that you're with, that you love, that you want to make sure is okay mentally, isn't that not your problem? And he's like, well, are you into that? And she's like, into what? And he's like, women. He's like, yeah, no. Take the no out. Yeah, period. And she said, I'm nothing about this. And again, I'm sorry, but like what we heard what her father has said, I do not think her bisexuality is directly correlates with her painting women in the nude. I think those are two very separate things. But she needs to explain that to him. And if she is bisexual, she needs to fess up to him. And she also then needs to explain to him, just because I am sexually attracted to women or emotionally, whatever, I am bisexual, I'm interested in both men and women, does not mean that because I'm with you, I'm going to want to sexually be with women. It means I'm with you and only you. And that's good for me. They just need to have a conversation. Stop beating around the bush and just be honest with him. Anyway, that is it for Mahdi and Stevi. We're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we will jump in with, I think we have 4 more couples to go through. But we'll be back with that very soon. And I am back. So let's get into the remaining couples. So let's just quickly go through the throuple and let's just get this over with because like I said, I really don't care. But it is getting a little more interesting. This last episode, I'm intrigued. Anyways. Okay, so the whole thing, like, you guys have this argument, you guys, like, talk about it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's like immediately after that, this bitch is literally like, oh, you know what would make me feel better? A quickie. I'm kidding. Actually, not really. Are you okay, listen, we've all done it, okay? Fine. I admit it. I think I've admitted it on this podcast before, but really? And I have questions. How does a quickie work with 3 people? Is it even really a quickie? Because, like, in my mind, know what a quickie looks like between 2 people. But how does a quickie work with 3? I have questions. Actually, I don't, but I do. Anyways. So then the next thing we kind of see is Amani telling Matt, so, like, after the argument and everything, or during the argument, I should say, Annie told me that she loves me more than you. Like, she's actually in this relationship for me, and not you. So, I didn't want to, like, tell you, before. Like, I just didn't think it was my place to tell you. But again, bitch, of course it's your place. You two are the ones that are married in this scenario. You should be telling him. Because again, if it was the other way around, and then he didn't tell her? Oh, hell would have broken. We saw it. We saw what happened when he has sex with her, with Annie, but then doesn't say anything to her, but then Annie lets it slip, but it happened or whatever. And we saw how Amani handled that. So then literally she does the exact same thing by withholding information from her husband and doesn't say anything, and then it's like, "Well, it's not my place to say." What are you fucking talking about? Like, really? She's I can't stand her. So he asks her, which is like, I don't know. He was like, "Do you want a relationship that's separate?" Like, he kind of is saying it, like, to be an ass, but I honestly think, like, he's honestly asking her this question, and I personally think she would say, "Hell yeah, get out. Like, I don't want you." She doesn't want him here. She wants to have her cake and eat it too. So, whatever. But she says, "No, of course not, but it made me happy." So, like, it worked because, like, clearly that was her whole thing was to make her feel better. So, and she made me feel better. So, like, so she is a horrible person. I don't know how in the Lord's name this man is still married to her without all this. Like, she sucks. So, of course, he says, like, "You need to be honest with me." And this is where she's like, "I didn't think it was my place." And he says, "Of course it is, blah, blah, blah." And he says it makes him not want to be a part of this, which, I mean, I don't know why you would agree to be a part of this, honestly, because it's one thing if he really truly wanted to be a part of this. They've both agreed this is what they want to do. And I think, generally speaking, yes, this is what he wants to do to make her happy. But I don't think this is what he actually would have done if it weren't for the fact that his wife is bisexual and wants to be with women as well. Which, okay, fine. Like, I'm not yucking your yum on that. Um, but like, I personally think he wouldn't do this. He would never have done this. So anyway, she said, "I don't want you to shut this relationship down," because she again needs to have her cake and eat it too, and she really doesn't give a fuck what her husband thinks. Because again, if her husband comes to her and says, "Listen, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go back to how things were, you know, without the throuple. Maybe we can talk about open relationships, you all doing your own thing, like whatever. I don't know." But like, if he were to come to her and say that, like, he has every right to say that. And she has every right to be upset about it, but he has every right to feel that way and for it to be respected by her. So, I mean, I don't know. Anyways, that's it. 5 minutes. That's all I want to talk about these people. Let's move on to Greg and Joan. So I'm only talking about this because it will be relevant for the next episode, but he has an interview and she kind of does say, like, "Well, you need to get this job because otherwise I'm going back to Uganda." Damn. And when he goes to do his interview and he, like, kisses her goodbye or whatever, his mom is like, "All right, that's enough. Like, let's just, you don't have to sit there and watch it. You can move yourself to the next room, ma'am." Anyway, while he's at his interview, Lucille asks Joan, "Can you help me with these misfit socks?" I don't understand the misfit socks thing or compiling socks into a basket or whatever. Seeing this here, we saw it on Love is Blind. I don't quite understand why we're doing this. I have my own goddamn misfit socks in my drawer. My mom will have her misfit socks in her drawer. But again, like, it's not constant. It's not all the time. It's not like eventually, because here's why. If a sock does materialize at some point, I know whose socks it is, and I will match it to the socks. Why am I going to have this misfit sock basket situation? This is stupid. Like, it's just dumb. Anyways, Joan, okay, this bothers me. Who are you to say this? And she does try to justify herself later. I still don't give a shit. But here's what happened. So Joan tells Lucille, because Lucille kind of opened up the dialogue of like, "How are you feeling? Are you good? Like, Are you feeling comfortable here? And Joan says, well, you're here all the time. Like, I think you need to leave more. And Lucille is so just taken aback. She's like, why would she say that? Because at the end of the day, ma'am, this is her fucking house. Your sorry excuse of a fiance who can't get nor keep a fucking job, who can't go and do normal shit, find a place for himself, knowing he's about to get fucking married in about 2 seconds. And he's choosing or putting himself in a situation where he has to live in his mother's home. This is her fucking house. She's the one who's paying the bills. She's the one who's doing all of that shit. And for you to come to her and say you need to leave more, the fuck? You can see yourself out of my goddamn house. Both of you. The audacity of it. Like, I'm sure people may think things to themselves, but the fact that you are so just blunt about the fact that you're going to say this to his mother, for whom I don't know her situation with the house, if she owns it or rents it, but it doesn't matter. She's paying for the house. Who are you? It actually really upset me. And I thought it was very disrespectful. You don't do that. You're not even here for like 2 weeks and you're telling this woman this. And like, what? Like, I don't care if you're a blunt person or you have no filter or whatever. Learn to have a filter. You don't talk to someone's mother like that, and you don't talk about like, no, no. um, Lucille does end up telling Greg like what happened. Why would she say that? Because she's probably also thinking like, are you guys talking shit? And she's like, whose house is this? Like, it's not fucking your house. It's not her house. It's my damn house. So I'll be here as much as I want to be. And she's like, who holds everything together? And he is upset that Joan said this, but he is also trying to justify by saying, like, I don't think she meant anything by it. And maybe she didn't. But the fact that she's saying it at all, have some goddamn class. Have some class. Please be fucking classy. You don't talk to people like that. And you do not talk to the woman who owns the goddamn house about how she needs to not be there as much. Who are you? Like, no. No. I don't know if it's her age. I don't know if it's because she's blunt or whatever the case may be. I'm not going to say because she's, you know, African or whatever. I had a friend who was Ugandan. She would, if she was comfortable enough with you, sure, but you respect authority. No, I'm dating an African man. You don't fucking talk like that to people. Who the hell? No, it kind of made me not like her, and like that's not cool. 'Cause I do like her. I think she's cool. She's established and whatever. Where she went back home, and I like her. This may be like her less. You don't do that. He does go and talk to her and he says like, she's offended by what you said. Her reasoning for this, which makes me even more mad, is she wanted to see her reaction. She's testing her patience because she's living in the house. She's like, I just need to know what upsets her. Ma'am, you will find out along the way. Like this, it's actually manipulation, honestly, when people do this. Though I can understand um, you want to test the waters and see what will happen when someone gets upset. I can understand that to a degree when it's actually like an intimate relationship. That I can maybe understand because, like I said, I've had it happen to me, but it did, but it's upsetting because you in your mind are actually really pissed off. You're angry, you're seeing red. And then when you find it, like Lucille didn't get to that point, but when you find out that all of this is because you're testing me, you're trying to see how far I'll take things, that's upsetting. And I would not even dream to think to do that to a partner's parent. Not even just family member, but parent. You sit there and you're gonna be sweet as pie, okay? Like, she's getting to know you, and you're getting to know her. But getting to know her is sitting down with her, having conversations with her, whatever, not getting her upset and seeing how far she'll go. And then she has the audacity to be upset because he didn't take my side. He took his mom's side. Ma'am, take several seats. You were incorrect in this. You were incorrect in this. He isn't taking her side in the sense of, she did something to you and you're not being heard. No, you fucked up. That's what you did. And I would actually be more upset if he took your side in that, because you didn't allow him space to take a side besides his mother's. It's a respect thing. It's a respect thing. He respects his mother enough to not say, "Oh yeah, you should leave more." No. It's a respect thing. At least the one thing I will say, like, there's certain things about him, obviously, I don't particularly like about him, like the fact that he can't keep and hold a job. He seems to have absolutely no ambition to get or keep a job. There's something off with that. But the one thing that I will say, clearly Lucille's parenting was good, to the sense of she taught her son respect and to respect others. That was messed up. And you want to be mad about it. Get out of here. But she does say, before she says, like, she feels upset that he took her side, that she actually wanted to cancel coming to the States 2 days before coming, because she was obviously feeling anxious about her decision to leave, blah blah blah. So she's kind of saying him choosing Lucille's side over hers is kind of like the thing that she was worried about. Ma'am, like I said already, you messed up. You never should have done this. And I think we need to have a different example of how he isn't taking your side, because he never should have taken your side in this. He took his mother's side, and yeah, because it's just like, I just I don't understand the audacity of a person to say that to somebody. Um, Lucille's like, my God, can you believe it? She takes 2 showers a day. I don't understand. Like, she takes a shower in the morning, and then, or she'll take a shower at night, and then she'll take a shower in the morning. Like, how dirty are your sheets that you need to take 2 ma'am, it's 2 showers. It's not like she's taking 5. She's taking 2. I take 2 showers a day when I have to go to work. I shower in the morning when I wake up, I shower when I come home. And then obviously when I don't have to go to work, I shower once a day. But like, what? It's just 2 showers. um, but Lucille is kind of wondering, you know what? With the wedding situation, it's gonna be a lot on me to do everything in the house, because she's gonna have to be the one to clean, landscape, cook. So I'm wondering, there's this little hall where your sister had her baby shower. Maybe we can just do it there. And he said, it's all inclusive. It's gonna have, like, um, yeah, it's gonna be all inclusive. It's gonna include everything: music, dinner, um, cake. It includes the cake. It includes everything. But the food part, which he mentions the food, he's like, well, I think I can make better food. Sir, do you actually cook? Do you actually do the cooking? Because in my mind, you're not going to be doing the cooking. Your mother is going to be doing the cooking. And if your mother is saying, I don't want to do it at my house, then you're not doing it at the house. Anyway, um, he says it has to be within budget. And um, so what she kind of says, like, it includes everything, and it's not like, I think we'll figure out, find out how much it is soon. I don't know if we actually do find out how much it was, but it's all inclusive. Everything you could need for a wedding, it's included. And she's like, I figured it's a no-brainer. And he says, though, it has to be within a budget. You know, he doesn't obviously have a lot of money. The other part of it, too, is that he has to pay for the dowry, which we'll talk about in a second. But he said he budgeted for $5,000. $5,000. That's not a lot of money. And when he mentions it's $5,000 for 75 people to come to this wedding, that is not enough money. That is not enough money. That's just not. Like, what food are you gonna make? Hot dogs and hamburgers? Like, what are you talking about, sir? And then how are you doing the cake? Like, well, what? No, $5,000 is not enough. Like, again, I've said this before. The little wedding that I did, where it wasn't like the big to-do situation or anything like that, it cost me $1,000 with the tux, the dress, the officiant, the venue, the going out afterwards, doing whatever, like 1,000 or maybe even a little more than $1,000, paid for completely by myself as well. And that was 10 years ago. I'm sure now, if I were to do a wedding like that now, it's probably double that. So, what? $5,000. But he also says he has to do the dowry. And his mother's like, don't start me with that. And she's like, why do you need so many cows? And she's kind of like, lay off Gregory. Lay off of Gregory. But she says, like, can't you show you can take it? Which I understand what she's saying. I agree with her. And she's like, can't you show that you can take care of her by the fact that you are taking care of her now, you know? And culture is culture, is what they say. This is what they still do in Africa, in most, countries, I'm assuming. And this is what they do. This is how they do things. The dowry is a part of that. It needs to be done. It's not going to change because little old Gregory can't afford it. The only difference is with this that I find interesting, because we've never seen, at least I've never seen, anyone on the show from Uganda, is that everything has to be paid up front. There have been, we'll give you a break. You can pay in installments, kind of like what David, like Tobo did. You can pay in installments. And because like you got to pay all of this up front. And it's not a lot of money, but that's what he has to do. So it can change because little Gregory can't afford it. So then we see them going to see the venue, and Lucille, she says, I just don't want to, she doesn't want to clean. She doesn't want to clean. She doesn't want to do all of it, all the nonsense, all the cleanup. It's going to get done at this hall. It's going to be perfect. She can leave the shit there. She can go home to her clean ass house. She doesn't need to, she just don't want to do it at her house. So because she doesn't want to do it at her house, and she really doesn't want to do it at her house, she agrees, I'm going to help you pay for this wedding. So we're doing it at the hall. We are not doing it in their backyard. And the other thing, too, that Greg mentioned was that, I just kind of had this vision of the chickens running around the yard. Does your 75 guests want the damn chickens running around the yard? I sure as hell would not want the chickens just running around in the yard. And I have nothing against chickens. I have held, not a chicken, but a hen. I have pet a hen. I've been near hens. Like I mentioned, I had a family member that had a farm, had animals and everything. So I have nothing against that. But all I can picture is these goddamn chickens just flying around the place, shitting everywhere. She's in her dress. It's just going to be a hot mess. You're going to have the chickens just shitting when you're eating. What is happening? No, sir. The chickens are staying in the pen or the coop, chicken coop. You're going to stay in the coop, okay? They can go up to the chickens and say, "Hi there, chicken," but you don't need to take the chickens out of the coop. You don't need to do that. Anyways, that's it for Greg and Joan. Let's go to Jessica and Juan. So Juan is definitely not doing this box mac and cheese correctly. I don't eat box cheese. mac and cheese. Actually, maybe this is just a hot take, but I actually don't like mac and cheese. But I know that you should, like he says, it's like where I come from, we get the mac, we get the cheese, and then we make it and bake it in the oven, which is how my family does things. We get the mac, we get the cheese, and we bake it in the oven, right? So this like craft dinner, which I understand is a Canadian staple, but this craft dinner situation, it's just I don't understand how anyone eats that. It's so bad for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. But it's so bad for you. I mean, we all eat things that are bad for us. Like I like to eat ramen noodles. It is what it is. But that's my guilty pleasure. But it's so gross. It's not real cheese. But anyways, I've never seen how you make box mac and cheese. I've not even seen box mac and cheese in my vicinity ever. So, but I know this isn't how you do it. And he gives him one of the children, Dan Doodle, I don't know his name, but he gives him the mac and cheese, and it's soup. It's mac and cheese soup because he didn't drain the water out. And Deacon is literally like, listen, that's not mac and cheese. Like he calls his mom and says, "Hey mom, Juan made me mac and cheese. It's not mac and cheese. It's the water's still in it." And Jessica's like, "Well, he doesn't really know how to make mac and cheese, not the way we do in the box. Um, he didn't drain the water out." So, whatever. Um, Later on, Juan is making food, making dinner, and it sounds delicious. He's making fish and asparagus. I'm not an asparagus girly, but give me the fish. I'll eat that fish up. I love fish. But guess what, y'all? The household does not like fish. Now, I'm sorry. I might be coming for people. I don't care though, because I'm coming for you. I don't understand people who don't eat fish. I just don't understand it. I can understand to a certain degree if certain people just really don't like fish or a certain type of fish or whatever. But when I hear a whole household where it's clear because she doesn't like fish, her kids don't eat fish, then it's like, I don't get it. I come from a family where we eat fish, salmon, bassa, sole, trouts. The other day we had some trout and it was delicious. We've, halibut, haddock, not my favorite fish, but whatever. Um, I can name off the fishes. I'll have tuna in a can or whatever. My mom will eat sardines or whatever the case may be. We are a fish family in my house. So it boggles my mind when I see people say, "I don't like fish." Why? Is it because it's fishy? There are fish you can eat that isn't overly fishy. Like, well, salmon's pretty fishy, but sometimes it can be not very fishy, but you can have that. Bassa is a beautiful fish that is not overly fishy, 9 times out of 10. Trout, like I mentioned, not an overly fishy fish. It's so good for you. The omegas are in the fish. I don't understand people who don't eat fish. So when I hear this woman say, "I don't like fish," and then we hear like Donnie being like, "I don't eat fish either," because your mama doesn't teach you right. You should be eating some goddamn fish. And listen, I am a person again who doesn't like particular foods. Like I just mentioned, I don't like asparagus. There's certain vegetables I don't like. There's certain, meats I don't like or whatever. But I am going to expose my children to the things even if I particularly don't like them, because I want my children to be exposed to it, even if I don't like it. So just because, ma'am, you don't like fish doesn't mean that you couldn't have exposed your children to fish and let them be the judge on whether or not they like fish. Rant over. Eat the goddamn fish. This man was slaving over the stove, cooking you some fish. Eat the goddamn fish. Okay, now rant's over. Okay. But Juan does talk to her afterwards about how he's feeling. He's struggling with the parenthood, which is, I'm of two minds of this. So I'll get to that in a second. But also not being able to work. And Jessica's kind of like, well, I mean, I've done this, so it's kind of your turn, which I definitely understand that. So here's the one hand. On the one hand, I feel for him. I feel for the fact that this man is clearly used to working, not being, you know, not being like Michael Keaton in that movie called again? Mr. Mom. He's not used to being Mr. Mom. That movie's fantastic. Okay. He's not used to being Mr. Mom, okay? Totally understand that. But at the same time though, Jessica's done this. She was doing this. She's been doing this on her own. Sure she's complaining about it, but like now it's your turn and you can't currently work right now until after you guys get married. And so you can get like the work visa and whatever else. You can't work right now. So right now, sir, this is your job. You may not be getting paid for it, but this is your job. If you need an outlet, then talk to her about the fact that you might need to do an outlet, which we'll see in the next episode or the most recent episode. He's finding ways to have these outlets, and being on his own without the kids around. Okay, fine, that I can be behind, but don't come and complain to me, the woman who's been doing it, that you are feeling down because you're just Mr. Mom. Like I can understand where you're coming from, but I'm not going to give you a lot of sympathy because I was doing it. On the other hand, though, Jessica could be a little bit more compassionate about the fact that this man is not used to doing it. You've literally thrown not only his biological child, but your two gremlins too, okay, that came before. And he has to take care of them, which I know he loves and cares for them. But I'm just trying to make the point here of you have literally dumped everything on him. And although I have no sympathy for that, he should do it. But at the same time, aren't you supposed to be in like social work or some form of mental health or something? Can you not recognize that maybe his mental health is going to struggle through this because he's used to one thing, but now he's doing a next? I'm just saying. Anyways, um, we then see them going bowling. And here is Megan with her husband, y'all. This woman is married. Bless his heart. And his name is Herbert. This is the only second time I've heard the name Herbert because my boss's middle name is Herbert. But that's besides the point, okay? But here's Herbie, okay? I'm shooketh that this woman is married to anybody because how do you have time to worry about other people's lives? Listen, I'm not married, but I am in a relationship having a lot going on in my life. I don't have time to worry about this, that, or the other. Like, listen, there are certain friends in my life where I haven't always been fond of the person that they're with, and vice versa. It's happened on my end as well. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give you my advice and you're going to either take it or you're going to leave it. But I'm not going to spend all of my time worrying about your goddamn life. I don't got time for that. I got my own life. I got my own man that I need to worry about. Um, so when they start doing the bowling, okay. Oh God. So I think I've talked about this before, my family curse, on my dad's side, that we tend to laugh at people's pain. And don't you dare fall in front of us because I will be laughing at you. I can't even get the words out of, are you okay? Because I'm too busy crying of laughter. When this girl fell while doing the bowling, I was crying. I also said, good, because you're so concerned about people's lives that is your karma, bitch. That was amazing. That fall was just I'm seeing it in my head right now. It's amazing. It was just wow. And her husband, God rest him, he literally goes over there to make sure she's okay. And I'm like, nah, leave her. No, but you should do that. Make sure she's okay. She is okay. That's why we can laugh about it. So Juan says, I hope she's good. I do. I hope she's fine, but like that's karma. Yes, it is. So when they go and sit down now, Megan with Juan and Jessica, she says, so like, have you showed Jessica that that she can trust you? Bitch, what? Like, he's like, yeah, what about me quitting my job and moving here? Isn't that enough of me showing that she can trust me? Um, she's like, but I just like I just don't trust you. So, did I ask for your trust? I didn't ask for your trust. I didn't need your damn trust. I just I just I can't stand her. You're not entitled to trusting him. You're entitled to you okay, here's what I say. You may not trust him, and you're entitled to not trust him. But at the end of the day, he does not have to earn your trust. You are not his fucking problem. His problem is the woman he's about to marry, the son that he has with her, and her 2 children. Those are the people that he needs to earn the trust from. He doesn't give a fuck about you. What you can do, though, is trust your friend's instincts. If your friend is happy and content in her relationship with this man, can I remind everybody they have a fucking child? So get over yourself. But if you can see that she trusts him, why isn't that not enough for you? Why isn't that enough to trust in the fact that she trusts him, she's happy, and that's all you need to know? Why does he need to earn your damn trust? He's not, I'm sorry, at the end of the day, unless you are feeding me, financing me, or fucking me, I don't need to try to earn your trust. Just like, again, we've had Letitia on this podcast, we've had Ava on this podcast, we've had Sharon on this podcast, and we've had other people, whatever, but I'm talking about my friends more so here what I'm talking about. I know Sharon's not in a relationship, but if she were to be in a relationship, I don't need to have her man earn my trust. Letitia, again, is a person I've been friends with since I was 8 years old. And I've seen the shit she's been through with relationships. She's been in this relationship that she's currently in for almost a decade. He doesn't need to earn my trust. He doesn't need to earn my trust. I am not his problem. His problem is earning the trust of my friend and of her child. And as long as she's happy, I'm going to trust her instincts. Whether I like him or not, it doesn't matter. I'm going to trust her instincts. Same with Ava. I've been friends with Ava for almost 6 years. She's in a relationship. Now, the relationship was before I knew her, but she's in a relationship. I don't need her man to earn my trust. That is not my place. I'm going to trust her and the fact that she knows what she's doing, 3 kids later, that she's going to know what she's doing and she's content where she's at. That's all. I trust her. I trust my friend. This woman has no boundaries. And as far as I'm concerned, I personally think Jessica she needs to cut ties or create boundaries. At the very least, create the boundaries that they can maybe, fix a relationship or a friendship. But at the end of the day, like I've said it before, I've heard people say it before, you may not need to like the person I am with, but you damn well need to respect the person that I am with. Point blank, period. Anyway, he says, I'm sick and tired of having this conversation all the time. It would be exhausting. I would think that would be exhausting. And he says, it's between me and her. Exactly, 100%. And Jessica says, listen, we just feel that if this is going to continue happening every time that we're hanging out, like, why would we want to hang out with you? And I think that was incredible. That's something that she kind of should have done. She should have learned from Jessica in this moment. That's a perfect thing to say. Because at the end of the day, this is not just a man she's marrying. This is a man for whom she has a family with. And if you cannot respect the boundaries of the fact that I have a family with this person, we can't be friends. Done. And that's something that I would say to anybody as well. If you cannot respect the boundaries and respect that the person that I am with, we can't be friends. Done. Because I don't have a family in the sense of we don't have kids yet, but that's something we're obviously working towards. So once that happens and there's children involved or even a pregnancy involved, we can't be friends. Done. So hopefully Megan takes that to heart. Um, and Megan says, like, I respect that, but like, if you make her not trust you while that you're here, like all of a sudden now we're gonna do a blank slate or something. But like if she can't trust you while you're here, well, like, I'll ruin your life. Bitch, how? Listen, I went to school with people like Megan. Okay. I know a Megan. What the fuck you doing? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You gonna fall in my direction? What are you gonna do? Like that's exactly what he says. Like, is that a threat? She's like, she's not gonna ruin my life. Of course she's not gonna ruin your life. She has no life. She herself has no life, but she wants to ruin other people's lives. G- Does she have children? Seriously, does she have children? Because if she has children, maybe you need to focus on them. But at the very least, you have a husband, so maybe you need to worry about him instead of worrying about other people's relationships. Just a thought. That's all. Anyways, that is it. We gone through everybody. We went through everybody. So yes, the next thing will be we'll talk about the most recent episode. Hopefully I can get to it before the next episode starts. But or at least let's get the notes done before. That's the main thing, me getting the notes done. But before that though, you'll probably get like Below Deck. I'm gonna work on Sister Wives, hopefully we can get that done too. And I still need to get through the Last Resort episodes and Diaries. So we'll be doing that. But other than that, guys, that is it for me. That is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there. And you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Week Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.